African Americans have often struggled with representation and also furthering their education. After the Supreme Court case, Brown versus Board, it has been seen as an easier route for African Americans to play sports to help their educational journeys. We explored the experiences of being a black student athlete or coaching athletes, a perspective that's not explored enough.
How you doing? My name is Arthur Johnson. I'm the owner of the National Lacrosse Association, which is a professional lacrosse league built to push diversity in the sport of lacrosse. I also am the co-owner of Warhorse Lacrosse Club in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm the head coach of Roman Catholic High School boys lacrosse team.
Khalil Lindsay, graduating from Frankfort High School in 2016 and recently graduating from Delaware Valley University in 2020. Khalil is currently playing for the NLA on the Groove Lacrosse Club, also doing private trainings and working as an accountant. Khalil tells us about his story. Mason Dennis is also coming from Frankfort High School. Mason is now a graduating senior on Rosemont's men's lacrosse team. Mason speaks to us about his journey and how athletics has helped him.
I went to school at East Stroudsburg University. That's where I graduated from. And one of the lacrosse players has said that I could use lacrosse as conditioning for football. So I decided to do that, but I came to blows, I guess, with my head coach at the time at East Stroudsburg. He didn't want me to use lacrosse for conditioning, so I asked him, I said, well, throw me some more scholarship money, you can tell me what to do. And he said no, so I said, well, you can't tell me what to do, I'm gonna do lacrosse. So I wanted to stop playing football and just delved into lacrosse.
I was already kind of looking into getting into school regardless. So by the time I started playing at 14, I was already in the mind state of I want to play, some kind of sport, but I'm going to go to school regardless. So even when I was choosing colleges, it was between, I remember St. Joe's, Drexel, Villanova, Loyola, Temple, and Del Valle. And the only reason I didn't go to St. Joe's was because St. Joe's just gave me less money than.
So when I first started, I was 10th grade. I was already playing basketball, and my history teacher used to be my coach. So he talked me into it, but like a player on my team named Khalil Lindsay is the one who inspired me to keep going with lacrosse.
Arthur Johnson explains to us how the National Lacrosse Association came about. He wanted to start to expand the sport of lacrosse, allowing more opportunities for kids and giving them role models in the sport.
Let me first by saying this. The way that I personally and my management team visualizes how we look at lacrosse, the only way lacrosse is going to truly grow is if we look at it like it's soccer. In soccer, you have multiple leagues going on all at the same time. They're not competing, it's all cooperative. Just because that there's other leagues, that doesn't mean that, other leagues can sprout up or be conceived, or whatever, which word you want to call it. But I think at the end of the day, with NLA Pro, our mission being our mission, which is to promote diversity in lacrosse through giving Black, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, and indigenous and other minority players an opportunity to excel. I think one of our main pillars, having a professional standard, which is the Combine and the Pro Day, really sets us apart from every other league. Because there is no other professional standard in any other men's league or professional sport. Like they have it in indoor lacrosse. I don't know how well it's heavily weighed, but in outdoor lacrosse, they don't have it. We were the first to do it. So, because if that's the case, we really don't know what a professional looks like. A professional lacrosse player looks like. How fast can you run? How high can you jump? How fast can you shoot? How accurate can you shoot? How agile are you? I think it's a bunch of kids that I've coached that you all have that connection with as a coach. Khalil Lindsay, Corey Groves, Amir Fluellen, a bunch of kids that played collegiate sports and played high school sports that, coaches always feel connected to. We all share these kids. We all share these experiences as coaches with these kids.
Khalil's family has always encouraged him to do what his heart desires, and to him, lacrosse was that outlet.
For a long time, my parents' focus and grandparents' focus was just almost like a do what makes you happy kind of thing. And I think that they were almost scared to push me in one direction too hard, which gave me a lot of freedom to be able to, I chose an accounting degree.
Yeah.
And I'm able to coach on the side, and I keep playing, and I'll get paid to play, so I'll be able to, make my money through my full time, and then also through coaching, and also through playing, and just kind of have multiple streams of income.
In an organization, I grew up playing flag football. I played 1 year of tackle football. I played basketball my entire life growing up. I played soccer my entire life growing up. I was the captain of the soccer team of my high school team. I was the captain of my lacrosse team. I also started playing lacrosse. I learned how to ice skate. Was never really into ice hockey though, but tennis, baseball, tried them all.
With lacrosse being a sport that African Americans are trying to break into, I asked Khalil and Mason how it felt representing the African American community through the sport of lacrosse.
I feel like I always have the responsibility to represent, especially when I'm in my classrooms. I have to be participating. I have to be in the front. I always feel comfortable in the middle aspect. My sport, of course, on the field, I have not only myself, my community, and my team as a responsibility, but I also have my college and the organization behind it. And in life, being in public spaces, I always have to be present, knowing that I am a black man in America.
I remember just joining a college team for the first time and thinking that it was going to be a totally different experience in the ways of skill level and intensity, and it wasn't about that as much as it was just about people not knowing how to function around black people. And it was weird because when I got there, I'm thinking, all right, everyone's going to be so dedicated, everyone's going to be so so strong about how they want to play, and that wasn't the case. It was just more that I was just trying to figure out how to navigate this space where it was 40 guys on the team and 2 of them were black. And how does that work, and how does that function, and how do we just make it into a cohesive space where I don't feel like I'm constantly defending myself?
Right.
That was the biggest adjustment.
I asked Khalil Lindsay about any advice that he would give the youth about perfecting skills through sports in order to receive an education.
I think it sucks because when we're in some of these spaces, the only thing that we see that is a highly valuable person, or somebody that we feel is a valuable and strong and good person, is the athlete. So when we're in these spaces, your best friends might not be those people. The people that you see walking to school might not be those people. You don't see them doing a whole lot of good things. And the best example of a person that you see is, LeBron's on TV and he built a school. I want to be able to do that. So then you strive for that rather than being able to get a job, maybe open a business, maybe do something, just do something smart that doesn't require you to be an athlete for 5 to 10 years.
Coach Damian Price is a new addition to the Rosemont family. He tells us how he impacted many lives through the sport of basketball. Price has been coaching since 1999 and is estimated to have helped shape hundreds of lives of student athletes. He tells us more about his process. Alyssa Rogers, who is an upcoming sophomore on Rosemont's women's basketball team, tells us about the story of how she grew to love the sport of basketball.
I started out my love for basketball in Chicago. Derrick Rose was a big part. I had all his shoes, every jersey, every Chicago jersey, all that. I got 4 brothers, so they were all interested in sports, and they were all trying to get me to play sports with them and stuff like that. But my one brother, his name was Aaron, and he loved basketball, so we were super close. So he would take me into our garage and stuff like that, and like dribble with me and stuff like that. Make me like dribble back and forth in the garage and stuff like that. So I just started to love it because I loved him, and we like bonding over it. So that's how I started to like it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If it wasn't for basketball, I wouldn't be here. I ain't gonna hold you. It was that one thing that I didn't get judged by because of my size, my height. You know, playing football. You know, early on, I wanted to play football. You know, I have family members that play football. Currently, I got a cousin that's in the NFL. You know, so back then it was weight restrictions, it was height restrictions, and if you did make it, if you just meet the guidelines, you are automatically placed in this box. Whereas though you have to, or you're on the line because you're big. Whereas basketball, I could be anybody. I could be a point guard, wings, you know, play 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And I could be myself, you know, and I can lose myself in basketball. Dribbling the ball is almost like listening to my favorite song.
I asked Alyssa about how she made friends and if her friends from home continued their student athlete careers through college just as she did.
The way I make friends is that I make friends based off of basketball. So like we all share the same interests. But yeah, for the most part, most of my friends that are females went on to play basketball in college. My male friends some of them went to play college ball, some of them went to the military. They kind of took different paths.
Through the sport of basketball is where Coach Price has influenced student athletes on and off the court, including Alyssa Rogers. As basketball continues to be a prominent sport for future generations, I asked Alyssa and Coach Price about any advice they would give to aspiring collegiate athletes.
Know what it means to be a student athlete first. Use basketball to get you where you need to be. It can take you all over the world, but being a student athlete, making sure you dedicate yourself to the classroom first, can open doors for you beyond measure. And that's what I had to learn, that, you know, basketball is not going to always be there. It's not going to keep bouncing for me as a player. But academia, the more I learn, the more I grow, the more professional I get, the more professional opportunities I can get.
Not for everybody, but for me, yes.
Why is that?
Because I'm not really that fond of like school academic wise, so I just had to bust my ass to get into college. So, and my mom couldn't really pay for it, so I had to do something, get a little help.
Roman Catholic High School boys lacrosse team. Gang.
Thank you for that. It's gonna be me on like Mason, 20-second take.
Don't lift the camera too much. You get dizzy.
And what year did you start coaching?
Oh, man, 1999.
1999.
1999. I'm telling my age. Hey, Rosemont, I'm telling my age. Man.